Good afternoon, everyone. This is Audrey Russo, President and CEO, and today is, I don't even know what day today is, but I do know it is the first day that all of the team of the Pittsburgh Tech Council is in the office together. We are so happy and it's quite emotional. We're excited to be with one another. The only reason I've blurred the background is I have a whole bunch of information behind me that I think would distract you from the content of what we're providing today. So we're pretty excited to be all together, and we're even more excited about today's guest. I'll introduce him more formally in a moment. But before we get started, I want to give a shout out to those who help us and make sure that we are doing this each and every day, which I believe is, I think we're getting into like 16 months now. Jonathan Kirsting is with us each and every day. He's Vice President of all things media and marketing and storytelling and all the things that shine the light on our region and the amazing things that are happening here. Today is no different. We're going to be pretty excited about talking about STEM and coding and STEM coding lab and all the good things that are going to accelerate us into tomorrow. So Jonathan will be monitoring the chat, and we put all of you on mute, and we've done that just so that we don't hear anything in the background. Also, just as a reminder, this is not an opportunity for you to sell your wares. This is an opportunity for you to just sit back, eat your lunch, have your coffee, whatever it is, and just focus on our guests. And as I said, I'll introduce the guest in one moment. So thanks to Huntington Bank. I'm thanking them for their just continued support of us. It's just amazing. Them believing in us, and just let us try all these different experiments. It's just been wonderful. So if you don't know them, get to know them. They're heavily involved in our region, in the community, helping small businesses, helping large businesses, you name it, they have their finger on the pulse. So we're pretty excited about the long-term partnership. We also have 40 by 80, that's the longitude and latitude of the Pittsburgh Tech Council, of Pittsburgh. Do you see that? I own the longitude and latitude now, but it's the longitude and latitude of Pittsburgh, and that's what we named our nonprofit arm. That's our charitable arm, and that's where we focus on all things that are related to both entrepreneurship, but more importantly, education. And soon you're going to hear from, in the show actually, you're going to hear from one of our teammates who's leading our efforts on apprenticeships. And I will formally introduce Marie Poloni in at least, I don't know, maybe halfway through the show. But we're pretty excited about the work that she's leading for us and how it fits into the conversation that we're having today. So without further ado, I would like to bring to the forefront Casey Mindlin. He is the Executive Director of STEM Coding Lab. And as I mentioned earlier, we're going to introduce Marie Poloni probably in about 15 minutes or so. So Casey, welcome back home to Pittsburgh. Welcome. You're no stranger to the team here at the Tech Council, but let's take a few minutes about introducing you, Casey, to our audience, and then telling us not only about your background, but we'll then jump into talking about the history of STEM Coding Lab. So thank you, Casey.
Thank you, Audrey. I really appreciate it. Thanks so much for having me. This is such an exciting opportunity to share a little bit about STEM Coding Lab, but first me. I won't spend too much time on me, I promise, but I was born and raised in Pittsburgh. I'm a proud Pittsburgher, and my career started in the world of education. I started in Washington, D.C., where I was in the office of Senator Michael Bennet from Colorado on education policy. So public policy is honestly my first love. And then from there went to a government relations firm called American Continental Group, which was run at the time by a Pittsburgher that Brian and I both know. And had a couple jobs at American Continental Group, ended up being director of communications and business development. And I was also managing a few of my own clients, one of which was Scholastic. Everybody knows Scholastic, probably. Clifford the Big Red Dog, and book fairs and book clubs. While I was representing Scholastic on Capitol Hill, I was lucky enough to be offered a full-time job. And from there, I was director of partnerships for Scholastic for about 6 years. And during that time, I oversaw all of Scholastic's partnership initiatives with both the federal government as well as companies out of Silicon Valley. So what that looked like was, Scholastic coming together with the Department of Labor, for instance, to talk to kids about career pathways that they need to be aware of, partnering with the DoD, the Department of Defense, to activate the next generation of engineers and cybersecurity professionals. We partnered with the FDA to tell kids not to vape. The list goes on from there, and I was really proud of that work because it really sort of lent a terrific insight into what's needed in the world of education right now. And what's needed is a movement, a collective movement that is committed to sort of, opening up opportunities for all kids, no matter what their demographics, the socioeconomic backgrounds, et cetera. So was really proud of that work. And then from there, I was grateful enough to be offered the job as executive director of STEM Coding Lab, which is where I find myself today.
That's great. And so coming back, how long have you been back in Pittsburgh?
I have been back for about 2.5 years. My family and I live in Aspinwall. We have a little 3-year-old. We retired in DC of the 700 square foot 1-bedroom apartment. And so we came back here, and that was honestly my sort of master plan all along, because honestly, no place makes me happier than Pittsburgh. And it's not because of the weather, it's because of the people. So,
So how does it feel?
Here.
How does it feel to be back? Half of that time it's been under COVID.
Oh, well, the trials of parenting a 3-year-old amidst a global pandemic are well documented here, and I am no different. But honestly, our community in Aspinwall here, as well as the city just generally, has been so crucial in sort of navigating this. We're so thankful for it, and grateful that we came through on the other side and still smiling today.
It's so great. So glad you're back, and glad that all of us are back, actually. So really appreciate it. So tell us a little bit about the history and the mission of the STEM Coding Lab, and also tell us the website so we can put it in the chat.
Yeah. So the website is stemcodinglab.org, and I'll start with the mission. The mission is to provide children living in under-resourced communities with access to the computer science education that will prepare them to compete in the digital world. We were founded in 2016 by a man named Viv Paninti, who was an Indian immigrant who came here to get his master's at CMU, and then went on to found and run a number of businesses in information technology, as well as data analytics. And Viv was able to see firsthand the need for 21st century talent and the need for us to close the digital divide by engaging under-resourced communities with the education that's going to prepare them and activate them, for the future of work, right? So we were founded in 2016, operational in 2017, and since then we've really made an impact that we're incredibly proud of in areas of learning across the city, be it public schools, Pittsburgh public schools, or charter schools, or community centers, and so forth. So that's a little bit of background.
So you partner with Pittsburgh public schools. You mentioned some others and other districts in the region to provide, comp sci classes on the topics of coding, robotics, animation, etc. First of all, are there any other categories that I've failed to include? And second, can you tell us actually about the programming?
Sure. So a couple categories you didn't include is web and app development. We engage kids on web design and app design and development of those resources, as well as just kind of foundational digital literacy. We understand that our teaching is going to fail to effectuate the impact we hope it will without ensuring that kids have just foundational digital literacy and digital skills that are necessary to move on to sort of more nuanced and complicated topics like web and app development and robotics and animation and so forth. So, we really go wherever we're most needed. Our mission is to serve the under-resourced communities of this city. We know that the need couldn't be greater. There are 20,000, more than 20,000 open computer science jobs in the Commonwealth today, all of which carry an average salary of about $89,000 per year coming out of college. And I think that more specifically, our city is brimming with opportunities. In June of 2020, at the height of the pandemic, you guys probably know this, Pittsburgh had more tech job openings than any city in America.
Right.
And, we feel that it's our responsibility to prepare Pittsburgh kids for Pittsburgh opportunities. And we strive to do so by introducing kids from across the K-12 spectrum to computer science in a way that's honestly fun and unintimidating, right? I think many of us see computer science as a career venture that is over our heads and sort of too complex to delve into with the certainty you need to know that you'll be able to get it. And we really try to sort of debunk that stigma and that myth by approaching computer science education in a fun way that empowers kids to understand their own potential in this space, and understanding that they too can do this work if they just put the work into it, right? And so we partner with Pittsburgh Public Schools, as you said. We serve schools like King Elementary and Faison and Lincoln, but we also serve our charter schools in the area, Environmental Charter School, as well as Propel on the north side.
Nice.
As well as our community centers, our learning hubs that have been so crucial amidst COVID. We serve them as much as humanly possible. Folks like Latino Community Center and the Makers Clubhouse and the Center That Cares, the Homeless Children's Education Fund. The list of partners goes on, and really, I mentioned them to sort of contextualize our approach a little bit to this. I mean, we don't confine ourselves to one sort of area of learning. We really try to go wherever there's opportunities for young minds to be captivated by this learning, and wherever there's opportunities for us to sort of prepare kids for the future of work that don't get it right just through their regular schooling. I think that there are too many under-resourced schools in this region to count, and so our work is that we got a lot in front of us, and our commitment is to those kids who are learning in those under-resourced environments and needing to be exposed to computer science at minimum, right?
So Casey, what does that mean, like in terms of age? Do you have a particular age range that you focus on?
Yeah. So we cover the full K-12 spectrum,
Okay.
but typically when folks think of computer science education, they think of high school, right? And I think that that is in many cases far too late. So we really strive to engage K through 8 audiences with our education, because we believe that sort of early exposure to computer science education will not just pique youth interest, but also facilitate the high school education that they're going to receive in a more impactful manner. I think that largely, if kids get to high school and have yet to ever receive computer science education, the chances of them going on to major in the topic or pursue a career are far more limited. So we really our sweet spot is probably grades 3 through 8, because we believe that is the age where kids are really starting to formulate career visions and opinions of their own. So that's a crucial period for us.
Well, actually, if I can just do a plug, I can't remember, Jonathan might remember, but a few years ago, I actually wrote a piece on the digital divide and said that if kids, by the time they enter kindergarten, if they haven't been exposed and they haven't been immersed, if they haven't had an iPhone or whatever technology at their fingertips, they're actually lagging by the time they get into kindergarten.
Right.
So I'm agreeing with you that it's that early and it's that ubiquitous. So I'm going to switch gears for a second, but Casey, don't go away. We are thrilled to have on the nonprofit arm I mentioned earlier, 40 by 80, we have with us Marie Poloni. We're going to talk about the nonprofit side of the Tech Council, and we're going to talk about partnering with you on the CS Explorers at Phillips Recreational Center this morning. So I'm going to bring Marie on, and hope that the both of you, and Marie actually runs anything that sort of touches workforce and talent. And so if you can think about that, it's sort of, workforce and talent as it relates to people who have experience or just sort of fresh out of school, but also in terms of what we're calling pathways or pipeline development, just as what you've articulated, Casey. So first of all, welcome, Marie. Thank you for joining us today. And she's just an invaluable member of our team who's doing a lot of thinking and leading for us. And she has a background in education. So she's probably one of our smartest people on our team who know about the world of education and development of these pathways. So thank you, Marie, for being here. So would the both of you or one of you just sort of talk about this CS Explorers at Phillips and the Rec Center and sort of, what's up with that and what we can anticipate?
Yeah, so I'll tell you too, just sort of how this partnership all came to being. And it is a very magical partnership. But thank you for that wonderful intro, Audrey. So my role here at the Tech Council doesn't just keep me on the Tech Council side. I get to work on both sides of the house with 40 by 80, our nonprofit as well. And together with the director of 40 by 80, Maria Fator, we get to work on anything that's going to invest in people in the region. So a lot of that is education and our wonderful students in the region. So we started a program about a year and a half ago where we were bringing STEM professionals from the region into middle school classrooms and really having them do experiential activities with the kids, and then taking the kids prior to COVID back into the offices and manufacturing and industrial sites of these professionals. And it was great. But then we met Casey and realized that along with Casey and his team, we can now do hands-on coding activities with these kids that fit into each one of these industries that we were exposing them to. And it was beautiful. So this summer, we get to launch CS Explorers, which is really the curriculum portion is led by Casey's team. And we are coming in partnership to bring in STEM professionals and then really working together to bring these kids on mini field trips into the industry. But it's a 4-day experience in 6 different themes. And thank you for putting the link over there in the chat for anyone to check out. But 6 different themes for middle school age kids. We bring in STEM professionals. They talk to the kids about their role, their pathway, their work, the projects they're working on, what they love about their job. And then Casey's team lets the kids dig in and do coding activities to really support all of these different industries. So whether it is robotics or artificial intelligence, advanced manufacturing, the kids are doing activities. And then we put them on a bus and we take them into anywhere we can go right now. Thank goodness the world's opening up slowly for these children, but they get to walk the halls, talk to professionals, and see how many, as Casey was referring to, amazing opportunities are out there for them, and all the different pathways for them to get there, and what they can start in middle school working on, and just finding out what they're passionate about, what they love, and what they're good at.
Yeah. Do you want to add anything to that, Casey?
Sure. Yeah. I think that Marie described it very well. It's a 6-week program during which we're going to be focused on 6 computer science themes. And those themes are artificial intelligence, robotics, advanced manufacturing, cybersecurity, animation, and data analytics. And we're going to focus a week on each of those themes. And the first day of each week is going to be sort of a 101, sort of what is AI? What is data analytics, right? It's just kind of building foundational knowledge about the topic. And then day 2, thanks to Marie, we're going to be bringing our real life tech experts into the room to talk about sort of the real world manifestations of their work, right? Like, where have you seen our work and may not have noticed, right? As well as, I think most importantly, the pathway they took to get to that job, right? I think that we're trying to allow our students to see themselves in the shoes of a tech expert, right? And then sort of empower them with hands-on learning. Day 3 is going to be the experiential day, where we're actually asking them to code their own robot or animate their own, short story for their ELA class, or, do those things that allow them to actually use this technology in a way that allows them to see themselves as a future expert. And I think that I would be remiss in not mentioning that this partnership is also in conjunction with the city's Rec to Tech team. So the mayor's team has a Rec to Tech initiative that has really sort of revitalized all of our city's recreation centers and made them into places of maker learning, right? And all of this is thanks to the generous support from the PPG Foundation, where that has funded this effort. And last thing I'll say about it is our goal for this program is not for kids to come away with the technical skills necessary to jump into a career at Google like tomorrow, but rather for them to leave this program with a fully contextualized understanding of the varied pathways they could take to enter into a CS career. I mean, we want to contextualize the ubiquity of this, right? And the many ways that you can use and harness computer science to your benefit. So, yeah.
So, while we're talking about this, I'm going to put Marie on the spot and talk about another program that we do called Launch. Can you talk about Launch?
Yes,
and
absolutely.
What that is and how it sort of fits into our whole strategy?
Yep. So on that 40 by 80 side of the house, we really try to create a whole pathway for students starting young. We just finished up our STEM Summit last week that engages kids of all ages, gives them sort of that taste. Then they can go into CS Explorers, do exactly what Casey and I are talking to you about today. And then if you're a young woman in the city of Pittsburgh and you're interested in STEM and you're interested in being a leader of STEM, we then have a leadership in STEM program for high school girls in grades 10 and 11. It's called Launch. It stands for Learn, Aspire, Understand, Navigate, Connect, and Highlight. And it's a program throughout the year. We have a summer cohort coming up, but really allows those young women to take it even one step further and connect with female mentors who are working in the STEM world, to create a plan for advocacy, to be exposed to different STEM roles, again, taking trips, but just really immerse them in the field of STEM and in those pathways. So yes, that is another program that we offer.
So it all fits together here. So are you recruiting for students right now?
Absolutely. We are recruiting for CS Explorer students. You can get on that link and find your way there. Like Casey said, it's going to be held at Phillips Rec Center. We are recruiting young women in grades 10 and 11 who live on the north side, who live in North Shore. The link is also over there in the chat for any young women to apply. It starts June 29th and goes through August 5th, Tuesdays and Thursdays. And our CS Explorer starts, tell me the exact date, Casey.
So it starts July. It starts July
25th.
No, July 19th, I'm sorry. July 19th, and it goes to August 16th, I believe, or August 19th, right? Should have had those dates, Andy, before.
That's okay. That's okay. We put links out there, so that's good.
Yeah.
We don't expect you to know everything there. So what have you both, from your perspectives right now, what have you learned? What have you learned as people who are putting this work together? What are some of any ahas or things that you might want to share with our listeners that we might be surprised about, or things that
I think that this work has illuminated for me in large part that it is crucial for us to include our private sector community and our tech companies throughout the city in this process. I mean, I think that lots of people talk, and I agree about the need for tech companies to be investors in the workforce and not just consumers, right? I think that we need to make sure that kids are aware of the innovation that's occurring in their own backyard, right? I think that a lot of kids in the city, particularly those in our more distressed communities, aren't aware of the amazing things that are happening within the tech community, and need to be aware if they're to pursue the skills necessary to enter into one of those roles, right? So I think that galvanizing a community of tech companies to support our kids in their growth and their exploration of careers is essential. And a ton of them, and that's not to say that you guys aren't already doing that. I mean, this city should be applauded for its corporate participation in the education process. I think that it needs to grow. It needs to continue to grow because not only are you guys doing so many wonderful things, but you're going to gain long-term yields out of exposing kids to those innovations today, because they're going to be launched on a pathway, we hope, toward readiness as well as a prosperous career. So that's what I would mention.
So before we jump to a question real quick, you just stole my line, just for the record, Casey, and it's about builders and consumers. I say to people, if you want to come to a place where you want to build, there's no better place in the world than Pittsburgh. But if you just want to be a passive consumer, we don't necessarily need you. We need builders and people to have an impact. So I think your tagline supersedes almost everything that we do. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's one of my favorite quotes is it's easier to build strong children than to repair broken men. And, it is critical for us to, sustain a commitment to the kids in this city because of the, never-ending opportunities available to them in this city, right? And I think that if you look at the census data and if you look at the data around, Pittsburgh college graduates leaving after they graduate, we're leaving a lot of talent on the table. I think it was something like the Allegheny Conference had a report that said that, 50% of the region's college graduates relocate after graduation. And the reason that the reason for that, according to this report, was that they just weren't aware of what was going on around the city. So I think that a commitment to that scaling of awareness and engagement, particularly with our youth, the earlier the better, as I said before, will kind of put us on a pathway for a more sort of inclusive Pittsburgh and a more economically vibrant Pittsburgh.
So Jonathan, are there questions out there before we wrap up?
Yeah, definitely. Such a cool conversation. I just love these conversations. So much fun. So Dan Griffin wants to know, first, thanks you for this terrific program. Wants to know, can kids, he has a niece that's age 9 and then a nephew aged 11, apply without their school involvement? Yes.
For CS Explorers, absolutely. Our CS Explorers program is available to anyone who wants to join us. You don't need to, go to a specific school or be affiliated with a specific organization. Check out the link, sign up, and we'll be happy to include you in this journey.
Very cool.
That's great. So, Marie, is there anything else that you want to give a shout out to in terms of the work with 40 by 80 or any of the things that you've learned?
I just want to thank Casey for the partnership. I think that so many organizations are all doing such impactful and needed and great things in the city, but our partnership really highlighted for me that the more you work together, the bigger and better your programs can be and the further reach you can have. So I just really want to thank Casey for being able to do that. And I'm super excited for not only this summer, but just to see where CS Explorer goes. I see this scaling to be after school programs and just really building from here. So yeah, just excited.
Yeah.
So if people want to get in touch with either of you, can we put your emails out there and share with them, or should they go? Would be great if you could put that in the chat. So I am very thrilled. I am very thrilled about this partnership. I'm glad that Casey came back and is raising his family here. I think that's always great to go out and then come back. And that's what we need. That's what we need. People who care, people who want to build. And Casey, obviously, that's your passion. So really appreciate it. Marie put her emails out. And Casey, we think we know where to find you. So
I'll put my email in the chat as well. But I just wanted to say thank you, Audrey. Thank you, everyone at the Tech Council. And thank you, Marie, and 40 by 80, Marie and Maria. as I call them M&M. They told
I
me to
call them
call them.
M&M too.
They told me to
That's
call.
great.
They told me that other people call them. It wasn't my idea. But honestly, really, it's a rising tide lifts all boats, and you
It's
guys
true.
are really representative of the rising tide here. And
Great.
I think that eager to continue to work with you all and gain the benefit of your collective expertise, and just grateful for the time. Thank you all.
Thank you all. Thank you both. Thanks for joining us. Thanks everyone for joining us. Jonathan, what's on the horizon?
Tomorrow we're taking the day off, but we're back on Thursday with Bob Stein for the Institute for Entrepreneurial Excellence stopping by. So be there or be very square. That's all I can say.
Excellent. Thanks everyone. Stay safe.